The Bosnian national team. To some of you, you're probably thinking, what the heck is that? Bosnia? Don't you mean Boston? And that's where I smack you upside the head. No, Bosnian national team. Bosnia and Herzegovina. You probably can't say that last part if you're not European, but Bosnia is a country in the Balkan regions. Completely different topic, but I'm here to talk about the downfall of the Bosnian national team. Why is that so important, you may ask? Well, I'm Croatian, Balkans. It's in the Balkan regions. And Bosnia, I have family that lives there. Some are from there. And I like to keep tabs on the Bosnian national teams, as you know. Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia. I just like to keep tabs on them because, in my humble opinion, the Balkans is the most underrated region in the world when it comes to sports. Period. Like, not just talking football, I'm talking other sports too. And I've said this before too. In my opinion, the most underrated region in the world when it comes to sports. Also, Croatia just won the water polo world champion, solidifying the case there. Anyway, enough rabble. I'm here to talk about the downfall of the Bosnian national team. What happened? Why are they like this now? For those of you that don't know and are really not in tune with the footballing world, but I'm here to talk about the start to what it is now. I'm not going to go too long. Pray to God, not like my last shit video, but here we go. I'm going to try to keep it brief. So, when they broke up from Yugoslavia in 1998, the 90s, that whole mess, it's another dumpster fire in itself right there. They didn't qualify for a tournament until 2014, but we're not there yet. So, roughly right around that region, 2012 to 2014, they were actually a decent national team. Players such as Vidara Bišević, Elvir Bajić, Sad Kolasinac, Marilyn Pjanic, Edin Dzeko, still kicking it today, those two specifically, Pjanic and Dzeko, Kolasinac as well. But players, it's not really well known for players to come out of Bosnia and be world beaters like Dzeko and Pjanic. But believe it or not, those two, they're really good. Let's start all the way back in 1998. Bosnia, fresh out of a war. The same with the Balkan regions, just fresh out of a war. They couldn't qualify for 1994. Just obviously that happened. And so we started World Cup qualification 1998, where they were drawn in a group with Denmark, Croatia, Greece, and Slovenia, two former Balkan nations in Yugoslavia, right there in the same group, but they finished fourth. All right, no sweat. We can move on to Euro 2000. They get in a group with Czech Republic, Scotland, Lithuania, Estonia, and the Faroe Islands. They finished third. All right, two in a row. What can you do? We're a newly formed country. We don't have the firepower for it yet. So they go on to the 2002 World Cup qualification. Spain, Austria, Israel, and Liechtenstein. They finished fourth in that league, in that table. All right. We're trash by the looks of it. So then let's move on to Euro 2004, where they are drawn in a group with Denmark, Norway, Romania, and Luxembourg. They finished fourth, just barely missing the playoffs because of goals. Where at the time, I think it was Hasan Salihamidzic, who I'll get to later, who was leading the team. He scored Bosnia's first ever goal. As an official country, he scored the first ever goal. But for Euro 2004, they barely missed the playoffs because of goals. We move on to the 2006 World Cup qualification, where they had Serbia and Montenegro. This was before the split between Serbia and Montenegro. So Serbia and Montenegro, Spain, Belgium, Lithuania, and San Marino, they finished third despite having an unbeaten home record. And also just want to mention, they're in the same group as Serbia, where they're mortal enemies. So you can imagine how that went. If I'm not mistaken, the first game ended 0-0, and then I think Serbia won the second game, in Belgrade, Someone can correct me on that. But then we move on to Euro 2008. Greece, Turkey, Norway, Moldova, Hungary, and Malta in their qualifying group. They finished fourth due to a very poor home record. So you can see we're into the 2010s. Have yet to qualify for anything. 2010 World Cup qualification. Spain, Turkey, Belgium, Estonia, and Armenia. They finish second in that group, make the playoffs. They draw Portugal in the playoffs. They lose 1-0 in both legs. Now, you're probably thinking, who are the coaches at this current time? Really a bunch of nobodies, ranging from Mišo Smajlović, Fuad Muzurović, Mio Kodro, who I'll get back to later, Miroslav Blažević. If you're Croatian, you know this man is a legend. Safet Sušić, who, that's 2014, we'll get to later. But really, between that period, Mišo Smajlović, Blaž Slišković, Fuad Muzurović, and Miho Kodro during that time. And obviously, like I said, Blažević and the caretaker Daniel Piric. Now we move on to Euro 2012 qualification. France, Romania, Belarus, Albania, and Luxembourg in their group finished second, make the playoffs again, draw to Portugal again. They got slapped 6-2 in the second leg after the first leg ended 0-0. And when Blažević was coach, he had a little bit of beef with Zvezdan Misimovic because of their loss to Portugal that first time they were in the playoffs with them when they lost 1-0. And there was a little bit of a heated rivalry between the two, and that was partly the reason he left, because of Misimovic and Blažević. They couldn't get together. They couldn't get along at all. And then now, obviously, Safet Sušić came in, 2012, 6-2. And now we get to 2014. The 2014 World Cup qualification goes down in Bosnia's history. In their group, they had Greece, Slovakia, Lithuania, Latvia, Liechtenstein, and compared to the team that Bosnia was now to then, of course, they blew everybody out of the water. Bišević and Dzeko, both top goal scorers in that team, they had the same record as Greece, but they edged first place, topping the group because of goals, and obviously Bišević and Dzeko were on fire then. Finally, Bosnia makes a tournament. Pop the champagne, pour the rakia. Bosnia has made it to Brazil. And they shortly forgot everything about it, because in their group they had Argentina, Nigeria, and Iran in that group. Game 1, they play Argentina. About 3 minutes in, Kolasinac scores an own goal. The fastest own goal in World Cup history. And then from there, it didn't really improve after that own goal, because then after that, Messi scored that goal, I'm sure you've seen. But then luckily after that, Vedada Bišević scores Bosnia's first ever World Cup goal. So not many can say their first ever World Cup goal was against Argentina. So that's something to be proud of. Their next game after, they play Nigeria. And there was a whole lot of controversy, because there was a goal that Dzeko scored, which was blatantly not offside, taken away from them. The referees screwing them over. Nigeria wins because of a goal, losing that game unfairly, and Bosnia feel like they got robbed. Even the referee, Peter O'Leary, who was officiating the match at the time, he said it was an error in his officiating. So Bosnia, should they have won, drew even? I don't know. I didn't watch the game. 2014 was just when I was getting into football, so I didn't watch the game. I think my grandpa was watching the game, and I saw him when I was at my cousin's house one time. He was watching the game. I didn't see it, but I don't know. You asked me, should they have won the game? I think they should have, but I wasn't watching the game. And then they're basically out of the World Cup, but they go on and play Iran, to which they win 3-1. So, 2014, forget about it. Safet Sušić was the coach at the time. He got fired after that. Not after that, it was more into Euro 2016 qualification. And speaking of, they got drawn into a group for Euro 2016 with Belgium, Wales, Israel, Cyprus, and Andorra. They finished third behind Wales and Belgium. Drew to Ireland in the playoffs, 1-1, losing the first leg, and sorry, I had a stroke. They drew 1-1 in the first leg to Ireland. Second leg comes around, they lose 2-0. No Euros for Bosnia. Despite wins against Wales and Israel, keeping 3 clean sheets. But at the time Sušić goes, they have Mehmed Bajdarević comes in as coach, and he has the best winning record out of any Bosnian coach in history. So they're thinking, okay, we can easily qualify for another tournament. We missed Euro 2016, whatever. So 2018 World Cup qualification comes around. Can they make back-to-back World Cups? They get drawn in a group with, Belgium, Greece, Estonia, Cyprus, and Gibraltar. They finished third, failing to make back-to-back World Cups due to losses with Belgium and Cyprus. I remember one of the games, Bosnia versus Belgium. They lost 5-3. Had they won, they could have made it. I think they could have made it. Also at the time in 2015, Mehmed Bajdarević was the one who coached Bosnia all the way to winning a Kirin Cup, which is the one trophy Bosnia's won, but what the hell's a Kirin Cup? So after Bajdarević fails to qualify for the 2018 World Cup, his contract runs out, he gets fired, thus they bring in Robert Prosinečki, to which, if you're a Croatian, you'll know exactly who Robert Prosinečki is. 1998 legend, played for Barca and Real Madrid. So I'm thinking, this was when I was starting to fully watch all the other national teams aside from Croatia. So I'm thinking, hold on, Robert Prosinečki coaching Bosnia might actually be a very good thing. Despite him also coaching Crvena Zvezda at the time, Red Star Belgrade, but we don't talk about that. Not at the time, but he coached prior. Anyway, here comes Euro 2020. Yeah, remember that? A whole pandemic happened before that tournament had started. So Euro 2020 qualification starts. It goes Italy, Finland, Greece, Armenia, and Liechtenstein in their qualifying group. They lose 4-2 to Armenia and lose 3-0 to Italy. significantly, but they still make the playoffs because of the Nations League. That was when that whole mess happened. If you top your Nations League group, you secure a playoff spot for the Euros, to which they did. Group B, League B, Prosinecki led them to get promoted to League A, I think, and thus they secure a qualifying spot, playoff spot, for the Euros, but they draw to Northern Ireland, and they lost on penalties. It is now 3 tournaments in a row Bosnia has missed, and Prosinecki gets sacked after that. Now we're on to 2022 World Cup qualification. They're drawn in a group with France, current, at the time, world champions France, Ukraine, Finland, and Kazakhstan. Aside from France, you're thinking this is going to be a friggin' cakewalk for Bosnia, to which, to my surprise, they only lost 1-0 to France and drew 1-1. Okay? Where at the time, Croatia couldn't beat France. But ignoring that, they finished 4th in that game, only winning 1 game out of that entire group, drawing and losing the rest, including a 2-2 draw to Kazakhstan. Who draws 2-2 to Kazakhstan? That's pathetic. I watched the highlights of that game. Everybody and their mother on that squad shooting blanks into the sidelines. You'd think Bosnia was at war again with all the blanks going into Zenica Stadium. Coach at the time was Ivajlo Petev, who I thought should have been given more time. I honestly thought he wasn't a good fit either, but currently at the state of Bosnian football now, which I'll get to later, he was not a bad option. But after that whole mess, they missed the World Cup. They didn't make the playoffs. They finished 4th. So Ivajlo Petev, his contract runs out. He gets sacked. They bring in, After that, they bring in Faruk Hadžibegić, who has coached Bosnia before, winning, how many? He won 2, lost 3, drew 2. He comes back about 20 or so years later, and here we are with Euro 2024 qualification. Euro 2024 qualification, they get drawn into a group with Portugal, Slovakia, Luxembourg, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Game 1, I remember this very clearly. They beat Iceland 3-0, 2 goals from Rade Krunic, and a worldie from Amar Dedic. That was game 1. You think, okay, Hadžibegić, he knows what he's doing. They win 3-0 against Iceland, which at the time, as of now recording, Iceland are kind of in the slums as compared to their 2016 and 2018 performances. Totally different Iceland team because of some scandal that went on. I don't know the exact details, but you think, oh my God, Bosnia are back. They're playing beautiful football. No. That game was a sham, a ploy. After that, they played Slovakia next. They lost. Portugal, they lost 3-0. Or was it 3-1? One of the two. They lost. But halfway through, Faruk Hadžibegić, he gets sacked. They bring in Miho Kodro. Barcelona fans might know who this guy is. He's the only, aside from Pjanic, the first Bosnian to play for Bosnia. After that, Pjanic, but we can all agree that move was forgettable. Kodro comes in thinking he can maybe turn the bus around because he thought, Bosnia would have been able to qualify under his terrain. He only lasted 2 games, to which he only beat Liechtenstein 1-0 and lost 5-0 to Portugal. No, wait, that was a different coach. It was Iceland, sorry. He only beat Liechtenstein 1-0 and then lost to Iceland in the 91st minute of that game. So after that, Kodro gets sacked. Current manager, as of now recording, Savo Milosevic comes in, thinking he could turn the bus around. Next up, they play Luxembourg. Do you want to know what the result was? They lost 4-1 to Luxembourg. Huh? 4-1. 4-1 to Luxembourg. When have you ever heard of a team losing by 4 goals to Luxembourg? For reference, in September, October, before this qualification window series of games, they conceded 9 to Portugal. Just for reference, they conceded 9 goals to Portugal, didn't score a single one. Next game they play Bosnia, they score 4 in Luxembourg. That same game, fans were throwing flares onto the pitch to try and send a message to the Bosnian FA saying that their football is going underground. Y'all gotta go. That's a thing I'm gonna get to later. This game right here was the final nail in the coffin, in my opinion, for Bosnian football. So which after that game, they finished 4th, I think. Yeah, they finished 4th with a 9-20 goal difference, scoring only 9, conceding 20, to which Luxembourg only conceded 28 below them. reference there. So now they're in the playoffs. Currently, they don't start for another month, and they're going to play Ukraine next. How they'll do, I honestly don't know. I think they're going to get slapped by Ukraine 3-0 easily. Bosnian football is in the slums right now. You want to know why? Because of a certain president of the Bosnian FA. His name is Vico Zeljkovic. You say his name around Bosnia, you're going to get stoned. Because he's a criminal. Quite literally, because this is a different stew pot right here, but Vico Zeljkovic is the nephew of Bosnian Serb President Milorad Dodik. But that's a whole different pot of crazy right there. I ain't even going to touch that. Vico Zeljkovic, you no doubt, he was probably the one who appointed Savo Milosevic, who, by the way, is Serbian, and Ivajlo Petev was Bulgarian, the first non-Bosnian manager ever. So you're probably thinking, sack Milosevic. He lost by 4 goals to Luxembourg. Who else are they going to appoint? There's 0 point of sacking anybody anymore because it's the higher-up officials now. It's not the coaches. It's the Bosnian FA itself. It's horrible. I've never seen a country run this poorly their football headed government. Unless you want to talk about like the slums of like Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Saudi Arabia. At least they can qualify for tournaments, bar the others I just mentioned, Saudi Arabia. They could qualify for tournaments, but the other Asian countries can't because of their FA. But I've never seen a European FA run this badly. This is pitiful for Bosnia. Back in the day, they used to beat teams like Slovakia, Estonia, the Faroe Islands. They used to beat teams like that easily. Now they can't. They're a joke to people now. I think players like Dzeko and Pjanic, captains of the team, you think they'd step up, but they're not doing much. But if you want to talk about like their best players in history, they include people like Safet Sušić, who my grandpa actually saw play. Apparently, he's like the best player in history to come out of Bosnia. Personally, I think it's Dzeko. Had he won the Champions League, it would have solidified that. But Safet Sušić, Hasan Salihamidzic, Elvir Bajic, Vidar Ibišević, Zvezdan Misimovic, Asmir Begovic, Miralem Pjanic, and Edin Dzeko, and of the current bunch that's there now, Amar Dedić. I think he's destined for greatness. Amar Dedić, in my opinion, I think he's destined for greatness. That, boys and girls, is the stew pot of what is called the Bosnian national team. It's a dumpster fire. A total dumpster fire. Believe me, what I think needs to happen, fire every single person in that Bosnian FA and rehire new people. Everybody in there and their mother has got to go. If they're going to stay there, Bosnian football is just going to decline. Nobody's going to watch Bosnian football anymore. You have to be a dedicated soul to watch the Bosnian national team. I know I will. I like the Balkan national teams. I've said this about a million times, but I like them all. I want them to prosper. All right, because in the Balkan regions, like in the world of football, all you hear about is Croatia. Hold on. I think I might know why. So where are the others? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you think I should make more videos about the Balkan national teams, because all you hear about is them. You never hear about, Serbia a little bit because the individual players they have are brilliant. But Montenegro, Macedonia, Albania, Kosovo, that's a touchy subject right there. If you want me to delve there, let me know. But that right there is the downfall of the Bosnian national team. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Shout out to Irfoslavia. I like to watch him on YouTube. Armin Falcon, that's another one I like to watch recently. But that's all I've covered in this video. They do a much better job than me and don't drag this on for 20 minutes. But leave a like if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments down below if you like these styles of videos. I know I missed the Real Madrid game yesterday. It was at 7 in the morning. They drew 1-1. Wish I didn't watch that. Anyway, leave a like if you want more of these types of videos. Subscribe if you're new. Comment if you want me to comment on other Balkan national teams, as well. But I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. I forgot to mention this about Hasan Salihamidzic. Personally, I think he should be the Bosnian coach. I know he was caretaker as director at Bayern Munich for like 10 years, I want to say, before he got sacked a couple years ago. After he brought in Mane, that didn't work out too well and all that stuff. So I think Hasan Salihamidzic, coach Bosnia. I know you've distanced yourself from that country. You probably don't recognize yourself as a Bosnian anymore. But honestly speaking, Hasan Salihamidzic, you should be the next coach. I know that's never going to happen. So what do I know? Just wanted to add my last minute thought there.